All right, let's now take you live for a weekly briefing by the spokesperson of India's Ministry of External Affairs.
Okay. One by one, yeah.
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. I have two related questions. What the situation in Venezuela? They have just had a referendum and they have taken a piece of Guyana. What is India?
That's not my words, right?
No.
They've taken a piece of Guyana?
Yeah, I mean, it's the media reports.
Okay, thank you.
And he has already passed an order for that.
Okay, fair enough.
I just wanted to know India's position. I just wanted to check, has India started buying oil from Venezuela?
Well, sir, hand up before, since you were making.
Sir, I'm Sahil from ENI. It's regarding the Qatar appeal. Did Prime Minister Modi speak to Qatar Amir on the sidelines of COP28 summit regarding the appeal?
Okay. Yes, Samir. Sorry.
Samir Hussain from BBC News. Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, is going to be visiting India next week. Want to know what will be discussed in that meeting, and will you bring up the case of the indicted?
Will we bring up?
Yes.
Okay.
Will that be discussed, rather? And then, is there any update on the investigation and the thing that was set up? I'm a loss for
Inquiry committee.
Thank you. Yes, the inquiry.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, behind you.
सर मैं नीरज दुबे प्रभा साक्षी से सर इजराइल हमास संघर्ष पर विपक्ष की एक बड़ी नेत्री ने कहा है कि भारत को सही का साथ देना चाहिए क्योंकि हमारा इतिहास ऐसा रहा है. क्या सरकार इस पे कुछ कमेंट करना चाहेगी विदेश मंत्रालय?
ये पार्लियामेंट में था
सर, पार्लियामेंट में नहीं, प्रियंका गांधी वाड्रा का उसमें एक ट्वीट है.
Okay, I'll take one more question next round perhaps. Yes, there, Mr. Emerson.
Sir, I'm Keita Weki, Japanese news agency.
Sorry.
GG Press.
Oh, I didn't recognize you. Sorry. Yeah.
My question is regarding the Afghan embassy in New Delhi. My understanding is that the Afghan embassy in New Delhi has resumed operations. Do you believe that the embassy represents the Taliban government or the previous government?
Okay. I'll come back. I see many more hands. Let me come back to you. Okay. Let me start with the questions. I think they were on the Qatar issue. I think Meghna, you asked, as well as I think Sahil, you had asked on that. You would have seen Prime Minister met the Emir of Qatar in Dubai on the sidelines of COP28. I think he put out a tweet. My understanding is that they're good conversation on the overall bilateral relationship as well as in the well-being of the Indian community, as he said. Look, it's the Prime Minister's conversation with him. I have nothing further to add. You want an update on the case as such? There have been two hearings. As you know, we filed an appeal, as is from the families, and the detainees had filed an appeal. Two hearings have since been held. One, I think, on the November 30th. The other was on November 23rd. I think the next hearing is coming up soon. We are closely following the matter and extending all legal and consular assistance. Meanwhile, our ambassador got consular access to meet all 8 of, in prison on 3rd of December. And as I said, this is a sensitive issue, but we will continue to follow, and whatever we can share, we will do so. Huma, on the issue of Venezuela and Guyana, the dispute, yes, of course, we have been monitoring developments on that. As you know, insofar as the dispute itself is concerned, we have always advocated resolution of disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. But for the moment, I would say we're just keeping a close eye on seeing what's happening. I don't have anything additional to share for the moment. Samira, your question regarding the... look, oil part, sorry, apologies. The oil part, I wouldn't be aware. I would have to refer you because a lot of them might be purchased by private entities. As regards whether we are doing through government, I would refer you to the Petroleum Ministry. I'm not aware of any update on this issue as yet, but if there is, we will certainly share with you. Samira, as regards the issue of the visit which actually I think you should ask the US side, because I think the US ambassador mentioned it. So, but let me just mention what I know about it, and particularly give you a context. As you are aware, we have robust security, cyber security, counter-terrorism, and counter-narcotics cooperation with the US agencies. We also engaged in capacity building programs. So as part of this ongoing bilateral cooperation, visit by the FBI director is in the works, is being held, but let them confirm the exact things. Details of this visit has been worked out with the US side over the course of the last few months. And as I said, I wouldn't like to confirm the specific timeline for that. That I would leave to the US. I would direct it to the US embassy or the agencies for the specifics of this visit. But yes, there's something that is in the works. What will India be raising, or will this issue come up? Look, as I said, this is part of ongoing dialogue process. I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm not going to guess into what may or may not be discussed. Perhaps the concerned agencies or may wish to brief you after the event. At this moment, I have nothing further on that one. नीरज जी, आपका प्रश्न था सही आप मैं सही सुना है ना? हाँ, देखिए मैं ये बिल्कुल मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं हूँ कि हम जो कर रहे हैं वो गलत है. तो हमारी जो दृष्टिकोण है, हमने जिस तरह से इस मुद्दे पर नज़रिया रखा हुआ है, उसमें आप जानते ही हमारा ये पक्ष बहुत क्लियर है कि हमने कहा था कि उस तरह से टेररिज्म को किस तरह से हम अलग देखते हैं, किस तरह से वहाँ सिविलियन ह्यूमैनिटेरियन असिस्टेंस चाहिए होता है, किस तरह से हम लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन पैलेस्टाइन का आ सके. इस मुद्दे पे काफ़ी बार हमने अपना जो पोजीशन है उसको बताया है, क्लैरिफाई किया है, बहुत लेवल्स पे किया है. तो मैं और कुछ एडिशनल कहना नहीं चाहूँगा उस पर सिर्फ यही कि हमें लगता है यही ठीक पोजीशन है, और टेररिज्म के मामले में पर्टिकुलरली हमारा काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग पोजीशन रहा है. ऑन द अफगान embassy issue, you used a particular word which I am not fully sure is appropriate about resumption or not. All I could say is, as per our understanding, the Afghan embassy in New Delhi and the consulates in Mumbai and Hyderabad are functioning, and you can see from the flag who they represent, and our position on recognition of entities has not changed. So I think that's what it is, and I guess the diplomats, Afghan diplomats who are here, are providing assistance or continue to provide services to the Afghan nationals here. Okay, I saw a few more rounds of hands, one by one. I saw your hand, Kadambini, please go ahead.
Kadambini Sharma from NDTV. This is about the visit of FBI director. So this is a regular visit, or is there any development in Panu case?
I don't know how to answer. Okay, I'll try. Yes, please.
Hi, this is Sanjay from ITV News. My question is pertaining to what Kadambini and Samira asked. Could you tell me what is the update on the inquiry which Indian government has set up in the wake of US allegations about Indian involvement? Okay. Secondly, there are some groups in UK has expressed their concern for safety, and they have written to the Home Secretary.
Separate question, no? You're asking two questions.
Yes, two separate questions, sir. Yeah, sorry, it's related to it. Yeah. Okay. So could you, have you received any communication from UK government in the similar nature about...
UK government?
Yeah, some groups in UK has expressed concern about their safety, in the wake of what has happened in Canada and US.
Oh.
So have you had any communication from UK about this?
We are obviously talking about different activities, but I'll try to answer your question. Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, Siddhant from WION. My question is on Panun. He has threatened the Indian Parliament. How much is this a concern for the Indian government, and is this a matter that we have raised or going to raise with the concerned authorities?
Okay.
Manohar Manoj from Economy India. It would be interesting to know by many Indians, that is, what is your official take on consistent killing of anti-India terrorists by their rival gang in Pakistan and some other country?
Official take, no? Not my personal. Okay, just check. No, I saw a hand. Yeah. I'll come to you. I'll try to as many.
So this is Abhishek Jha from Syrian News 18. My question is regarding many terrorist organizations, especially Khalisani terrorist organization in Canada, asking people not to board Air India flights. They have been picketing at multiple airports. So this looks like a clear threat and intimidation to Indian communities. So have you raised this question?
This was on specific date, no? Wasn't it 19th of
Yeah.
Last month, in November?
No. This
again.
Like last week also they have done this picketing at the airport and discouraging people from boarding the flights.
Okay. More hands? I'll come back. I see another round. Okay. Kadambani, on your query on regarding FBI director, look, I just answered the context in which we look at the visit, and it's been, as I said, it's been in the works for some time. And this is part of an ongoing cooperation, security-related cooperation. I certainly don't know if there is any development on the aspect that you referred to. I'm not aware of it. And on the same note, I should have responded to Samir on that one, and I think you raised the issue on that high-level inquiry. No, I don't have any update on the response on that. If there is, we'll certainly share that with you. At this point, I don't have anything to share. On your query on the communication with the UK government, no, I'm not aware of any particular thing. I have seen some reports where say they feel threatened by groups when they are there. I don't think it's for the UK government to find any on the security elements or things like that. I don't know what you're insinuating. I'm not getting into that. Siddhant, as regards threats, and I think Abhishek, you had the similar sort of a query. Look, I'm not the right person to comment on security issues, but yes, we do take threats seriously, particularly if, depending on the context of that. In the specific case, yes, on the Parliament, we are caught in a bind here. I don't want to amplify or give too much of credence to such extremists who make threats and get a lot of coverage. But on the other hand, we take this seriously. In this particular case, I know that we have taken up this matter with the, I think, US and Canadian authorities about this threat. But as I said, I don't want, the extremists and terrorists have a tendency of wanting media coverage on an issue, and I wouldn't like to dignify them that way. Abhishek, I am not sure about the Air India one, a recent one. I know last month they had threatened on a particular date, and I think that issue was something on our radar. I'll have to check. But let me make a larger point, of course, that we would condemn any threat of this nature. We take this seriously, and our security agencies will take appropriate action. If there are people are being discouraged to use the word, I don't know what that means, were they threatened, were they not allowed, but we certainly would not be happy with that. And if there are incidents where there are criminal activities or we feel there is a threat, we will take appropriate action abroad. Manohar Ram, your question was regarding official position. Look, I don't know how to react. I don't have a comment on it, except for the larger issue is that those who are wanted in India to face justice for criminal and terrorist activities or extremists, we would like them to come to India and face our legal system. But I cannot comment on developments that have taken place in Pakistan. I don't have any additional info than what I see on media. So I will not be able to comment further on that. Okay, let me take a next round of question. Yes.
So Sridhar from the Asian Age. I was just curious whether India has demanded that the US prosecute and arrest and prosecute Pannu, because this is a man who's belting out one terror threat after the other against Air India, against the Indian Parliament. But somehow we have conducting a probe into an alleged murder plot, but the US doesn't seem to be taking these threats very seriously. And has India pressed them that they should also conduct a probe into the activities of Pannu? Thank you.
Okay. Whose hand did I see? Yeah, Pia.
Hi, Pia with the Print. Since 2018, Indian students dying abroad seems to be the highest in Canada as per data released by the MEA earlier today in Parliament.
Not released. It's a reply to a Parliament question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Has the MEA communicated this to the Canadian side? Are there any steps being taken to protect our students there? Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Reza? Oh, sorry, I missed you. I'll come back to you.
Reza from the Hindustan Times. The readout on the India-Myanmar consultations yesterday mentioned the situation on the border, and also, India supporting the efforts to return to federal democracy. I was just wondering, how does India see the situation on the border, given the fact that the resistance forces have scored a number of victories in the last few weeks and seem to have moved closer and closer to, positions along the Indian border?
Sorry, could you clarify your question? How it sees the developments within Myanmar, or vis-a-vis?
Because the resistance forces do seem to have been scoring a lot of victories, and against the military forces.
Fair enough. You asked already a question, so let me try some other people. Huh? Yeah, okay. If you have related questions, please.
So, times now. There are about 19,000 people from Myanmar in India. And in recent weeks, in 2 states alone, about 6,000 to 7,000 people have come. 1 or 2 of them are reasonably eminent people. Now, is this something that could be a problem? Or is this something
because of their eminence?
We are going to, 7,000 new people have suddenly come in one week. It's an issue.
Let's see if I have the numbers here. Okay. Yeah, please.
सर मधुरेंद्र मैं न्यूज़ नेशन से मेरा सवाल ब्रिक्स को लेकर है। ब्रिक्स में शामिल होने के लिए पाकिस्तान ने जिस तरह से बीट किया है और कई पाक के जो मित्र देश हैं उनका समर्थन भी उसे प्राप्त है, भारत इस डेवलपमेंट को कैसे देखता है?
Yeah, Umashankar, please. Microphone.
उमाशंकर NDTV इंडिया से। कतर में ही मेरा सवाल है कि जो एक कानूनी प्रक्रिया चल रही है, हमने अपील किया हुआ, आपने बताया कि 2 सुनवाई हुई, अगली सुनवाई भी जल्द होनी है, तो क्या कानूनी प्रक्रिया पूरी होने के बाद पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप के साथ मामला उठाया जाएगा, इस बात का इंतजार किया जा रहा है या दोनों प्रक्रिया साथ साथ चल रही है?
Okay. Yeshi, last question.
Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. What's the update on the withdrawal of soldiers from Maldives? You know, the new president had said that the Indian troops will have to go back, and so what's the update? And what are the exact numbers? There are, you know, some figures are at 77, some say there are 89. What are the exact numbers?
Sridhar, to start with your query, I think, look, you asked a question that's also mired a little bit in the legal aspect, so I'll be a little careful what I say. Look, as you know, that in the individual you named is wanted by our agencies for violation of the law, and there is a process under which we seek assistance, we seek that they be prosecuted. It depends on whether crime is committed. In our case, I think requests have gone through detailing the kind of crimes that he's responsible for in India, and hence what kind of assistance we would require from the foreign countries. But your question was more about the threats he's making there. Yes, we have of course flagged concerns to our partners about any threats made by extremists or terrorists against India, against Indian diplomats or our properties, etc. And we do take it up from time to time, and there is ongoing conversation, there is security cooperation. Some of it we've seen results, some of it we haven't, and this is an ongoing process. As regards the question on Pia, sorry, your question was, look, I would hesitate to put it from the perspective you have put it. Yes, I'm aware today in Parliament we answered a question on the deaths of Indian students. Canada does happen to numerically be the highest, but I would urge that they be looked at in relation to the total number of Indian students in that country. Plus, we would need to see whether these are caused by violence, either car accidents. We don't know. So I think I don't know if this is an issue that merits taking up with the government. If there are individual incidents where there has been foul play, etc., we certainly, our consulates do reach out, both the families, we also take it up with the local authorities, or what further prosecution or other investigation that they are pursuing. So I would like to make a generalized comment there. Reza, regarding your query on the Myanmar, look, let me take you back to, you mentioned, I think, there was a conversation, there was a Foreign Office consultations that took place, I think, yesterday. We have put out how we see the developments there. Yes, of course, as we have said earlier, developments in Myanmar of this kind are a matter of concern for us. Also linked to the query I got about how many, Shinja was asking, number of people have come across. We've answered this, we've discussed this in the past. These are issues of concern. Yesterday, we have put out a press release. In addition, what I can tell you is that we discussed the full range of security concerns, particularly challenges faced on the border, including refugee flows. And on a larger perspective, we have always been encouraging that peace there, or a resolution or a return to democracy is the way forward that we see. I wouldn't like to comment about whether resistance forces are making gains, or that's not the issue. We would like to see a peaceful periphery and the issues that we are facing on our border and the security implications of that. We've spoken at length about this in the past, of how drug trafficking or other forms of trafficking, other difficulties that are faced. There are, of course, refugee flow, and this is something that's being addressed. Of course, on the exact numbers and details, Srinjoy, I would refer you to the concerned ministries and agencies. But yes, this is an issue. This is an issue that came up in the conversation, as also other challenges in managing the border. मधुरेंद्र जी, आपका प्रश्न था ब्रिक्स के बारे में, और पाकिस्तान आपने कहा कि अप्लाई किया है उन्होंने. मधुरेंद्र जी कहाँ गए? हाँ, देखिए, कई देशों ने ब्रिक्स की सदस्यता की मांग की. विस्तार प्रक्रिया के लिए कोई वो गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल, स्टैंडर्ड्स, क्राइटेरिया और प्रोसीजर्स अपनाए गए. हाल ही में इस साल जब साउथ अफ्रीका में ब्रिक्स की जो शिखर सम्मेलन रही, उसके पहले. अब इस पर्टिकुलर एप्लीकेशन के बारे में मेरा कोई कमेंट नहीं है, पर मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहता हूँ, आपने पर्टिकुलरली कहा कि कुछ मित्र देशों ने सपोर्ट किया है. मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ और हाईलाइट करना चाहता हूँ कि जो ब्रिक्स की डिसीजंस होती हैं, उसके जो निर्णय लिए जाते हैं, वो सारे कंसेंसस के बेसिस में होता है. मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ. आप इसका इशारा समझ ही सकते हैं अगर नहीं समझो. उमाशंकर जी, योर क्वेरी वाज ऑन कतर. Look, I wouldn't like to put it, sorry, where did Umashankar go? There you are, right here. Apologies, sometimes you don't see the first row. We clarified where we are, how we look at this problem. इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले ये होगा उसके बाद होगा. एक न्यायिक प्रक्रिया चल रही है जिसमें हमने एक अपील भी फाइल कर रखी है, और हमने पहले कहा था कि हम इस विषय को कतर के साथ भी हम रहेंगे, उनके कतरी अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ हम कांटेक्ट बनाए रखेंगे इस मामले में. इसका डिटेल मैं कुछ शेयर नहीं कर पा रहा हूं क्योंकि ये संगीन मामला है और मैं इसको ज़्यादा कुछ कहना नहीं चाहता हूं. पर मैं ये भी नहीं कहना चाहता हूं कि अलग अलग प्रोसेस है. हम जो भी जिस तरह से भी असिस्ट कर सकते हैं हम करेंगे. अभी के लिए फोकस हमारा ये न्यायिक प्रक्रिया पे है, पर हम कतर के साथ भी एंगेज रहे हैं काफ़ी. Yashi, as regards your query on, you specifically asked for Maldives, right? The withdrawal of the... look, you would have seen, I would refer you to the conversation that took place between Prime Minister and President of Maldives, newly elected President of Maldives, which happened in Dubai. As you know, the troops or military personnel or Indian personnel that you refer to, Maldives are, there for the platforms that provided by India. And these platforms have been providing much needed humanitarian assistance and medical evacuation facilities to the people of Maldives. And this has been consistently appreciated by the government of Maldives. And as I mentioned, in Dubai during the conversation, Prime Minister and President of Maldives discussed ways to further deepen our partnership. In this regard, they agreed to set up a core group. And let's see how we will be guided by what the core group says. So for the moment, that would be my response to this. Thank you very much. We have more questions? Sorry, we're running out of time. Okay, Kallol, I saw your hand earlier. I should call you. Yeah. You have a second question. Hold on.
Kallol from The Hindu.
Sure, ask last round. Okay. Yeah. Tell me.
So, the Foreign Secretary visited Iran recently.
Yes.
And of course, there is the context of the incidents that are happening on the Red Sea, that the security threats rising for the ships. And there have been incidents where the Israeli flag-bearing ships have been attacked by Ansar Allah and Houthi militants. My question is, has India raised these concerns with the Iranian authorities, or has there been some sort of a maritime security-related discussion during the Foreign Secretary's visit to Tehran?
Okay. Though somebody else, no, I mean, look, we can't have too many. Anything particular new? Something I'm missing out?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it's Abhishek from CNN News 18, and my question is regarding Pakistan Foreign Ministry spokesperson has reacted on the comments made by Home Minister in the Parliament on the issue of Kashmir, the Pak-occupied Kashmir, which India has said that is our part, and there has been some other statements also in the bill that have been passed. So they have rejected this statement. If you could speak.
You really expecting some other response? What would you like me to? Okay, I'll give you a statement if you want. Okay, anything, something else?
So this is just a clarification.
Yeah, please.
To the one of the earlier questions asked on Qatar. Did you give a categorical response on whether the Prime Minister had raised this issue with the Emir of
You were
Qatar?
not listening, obviously.
No, I think you said probably that there was no update, but would you like to give a
sorry, I have said what I needed to say. You have something else? Yeah, tell me. I think
नीरज दुबे प्रभा साक्षी से सर चाइना हिंद महासागर क्षेत्र फोरम का सम्मेलन दूसरा आयोजित कर रहा है, क्या सरकार किस पर प्रतिक्रिया है?
नहीं, मैं समझ गया, मैं मतलब अच्छा ठीक है, ओके। आपने मैं कभी कभी हैरान हो जाता हूँ। एनीथिंग न्यू? या टेल मी माइक।
Just one, the new Argentinian president has said that they don't want to join the BRICS. What does India think about it?
It's a very complicated question. Okay, I have to close here. Okay, quickly. Look, on the Iran consultations, Kalol, in fact, I have it. That's what I was actually looking for. We gave a pretty detailed sense of where we were and what we discussed. Maritime security is an element that's, of course, discussed, as part of our overall engagement. But as you correctly said, that's Houthis are talking about it. I don't know if the Iranian government has said anything on it. I would be hard-pressed to comment on whether we raised it. I would tend to say no, but I haven't had a chance to check on that. For the moment, I would limit myself to the detailed readout that we shared after the Foreign Office consultations, particularly focusing on bilateral cooperation, Chabahar, trade and economic issues, people-to-people ties, agriculture, and capacity building. Of course, there was also exchange on regional developments, naturally. So I would limit myself to that. Pakistan, you asked on that. Look, I don't think I need to really reiterate our position on Pakistan occupied Kashmir. I don't need to clarify Honorable Home Minister's statement. I think they stand on their own. They've been made in Parliament. I'm certainly not going to respond to it. But our position on Pakistan occupied Kashmir is very clear. I mean, we consider it a part of India, and we've done so for as long as I can remember. And we certainly, I see no reason to change our statement. But I have nothing to comment against their comments. Sridhar, I responded to you. You can look at the recording. आपका प्रश्न था हिंद महासागर के। देखिए, मैं इसमें उस पर टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा। मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि हम अपने क्षेत्र में या हिंद महासागर के क्षेत्र में रीजनल अप्रोच में हमने काफ़ी कुछ किया है, और हमारा जो नज़रिया है और हम जो प्लेटफॉर्म्स यूज़ करते हैं, आप आयोरा देख लीजिए या आयोन्स देख लीजिए या किसी और तरीके से, हम किस तरह से इस क्षेत्र के देशों के साथ कोऑपरेट कर सकते हैं और हम मिलजुट के क्या कर सकते हैं, उसमें हमारी प्रयास है, उसमें हमारा फोकस रहता है। हम लोग इसमें कई तरह के मैकेनिज्म्स हमने लॉन्च किए हैं और कुछ तरह के कोऑपरेशन है। हमारा फोकस यही किस तरह से हम इकोनॉमिक इंटीग्रेशन बढ़ा सकें, हमारा ग्रेटर कनेक्टिविटी रह सके इस देशों के साथ, और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी और बाकी मुद्दों जो उनके इंटरेस्ट में हो, किस तरह से इंडिया उनके साथ काम कर सकती है। new Argentinian president. Look, I would go by the fact that, as I mentioned on the BRICS expansion process, that countries expressed a desire to join it, and there was there was a whole process of criteria, guidelines, etc., which were drawn up, based on which some countries were invited. 6 countries were invited to become members of BRICS. If they choose not to become, I guess they choose not to become. I don't think anybody is forcing anybody to join groups. So we will see as it comes. It's pretty hypothetical. I think I would also refer you to the chair of BRICS. I think that's Russia. Would know the legal process of this. I know you want me to go down that route. Thank you very much. What else? Yeah, it's 4:35. Huh? मैंने कोई स्टेटमेंट ही नहीं दी। मैंने तो सिर्फ कहा उनको कि मैं उनके बयान पे कमेंट नहीं करना चाहता हूं, और हमारे होम मिनिस्ट्री के जो बयान है उस पर भी नहीं कमेंट करूंगा। मैं सिर्फ कहूंगा कि हमारे जो पीओके के जो हमारा पोजीशन रहा है हमारे देश का, सरकार का, उसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं है, और वो बिल्कुल भारत का अभिन्न अंग है। ये हम बहुत बार कह चुके हैं। थैंक यू ऑल फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस।